And joining us at the roundtable this week is Malone Police Chief Chris Premo. Nice to see you.
Nice
Welcome.
to be here.
Is it overstating it to say you're dealing with a heroin crisis right now in the village?
We're definitely dealing with an increase in the heroin, definitely.
You're seeing an influx like many other communities.
Right. What you're seeing now is a lot of the urban problems that come into the rural areas, and that's what we're seeing. All the small communities I know of are running into the heroin problem.
Are we seeing dealers in larger urban areas, New York City, Albany, Utica, who see untapped markets up here and are coming up here to try to sell their heroin?
Definitely. What you're running into is the profitability up here is such, there's so much profit here to be made that these guys are risking it coming up here. And a lot of times you'll see the local people pushing for them while they sit in the motel room somewhere.
The locals probably get heroin in exchange for out
most
pushing the drug.
Yes.
And they're selling it for prices up here that they couldn't possibly get in New York or some of the larger cities. They're making a real profit up here.
Oh, definitely. A bag of heroin will go for $4 or $5 on the street, say in New York City or in Massachusetts somewhere, and they're selling it for $30 in the Village of Malone right now.
Have you had overdoses or overdose deaths?
There have been a few overdoses. We haven't had any deaths yet, but you've seen it out there. Right now there's a heroin brand that's laced with fentanyl, and that's been on the news where
we've been hearing so much about that.
Increased a lot of overdose with that.
And this goes hand in hand with the prescription drug problem. That's been a problem as well for a few years now. People getting hooked on painkillers, and is it they get hooked on the painkillers first and then turn to heroin?
We used to see just basically the prescription pill problem, and we've been battling that, and I believe with the state, with their new system, preventing people from doctor shopping, that's kind of slowing down a little bit, and we've made a lot of people aware of what the problem was. So I think it's slowed down, and they're not able to get the prescription drugs like they were getting. So this is why they're turning to the heroin.
And we've seen many places where, with the heroin crisis, with the prescription drug problem, it tends to lead to higher crime. Are you seeing that in your village as well?
Yeah, you'll see increase in larcenies and the burglaries. I know the state police outside of the village have dealt with a lot more burglaries too this year. Back in the end of January, we had an armed robbery at the Maple Fields, and it was the first one of a convenience store in my 16 years with the police department, and that was directly related to heroin.
Someone looking to get money to buy heroin.
He had already bought a bundle of heroin and shot it up and wanted more and didn't have the money, and went down and stole $200, and by the time we caught him, he had already shot up 5 more bags. So he had already got it before we caught him.
Is your fear that the crime problem will get worse?
Yes, definitely. Once you start heroin, you start out small, but then it takes more and more to get you to that high, and when it's costing you $400 or $500 a day, that money has to come from somewhere, and it's mostly they're stealing from family members or from stores, or they'll steal stuff at one of the stores and trade it. You see a lot of that too.
Retail theft is a real problem.
That's a real problem, yes.
And the larcenies you talk about, are they going into people's homes, breaking in during the day? Are they looking for prescription pills or for stuff that can be sold quickly?
Definitely, and you'll see like even the car larcenies. They'll go through cars at night and find stuff. A lot of people keep their cars unlocked. We run into that a lot. You'll see them going ransacking cars at night.
So how do you combat it?
I mean, it's got to be fought on a couple different fronts. I mean, we charge people under the penal law. That's our job. But I think once you get them into the system, then that's where they can get some help for counseling, you know, to help them combat that. I mean, they're not gonna. Most of them won't go on their own. So I mean, my look at it is they have to get incarcerated and start there, and then they'll get the help they need. Problem we run into is a lot of these people have been arrested 2 or 3 times before for selling drugs. So it's a tough situation. I really don't know what the answer is, but we've got to kind of curtail it a little bit and let the people from outside the area know that we're at least trying to combat it a little bit and slow it down.
You did have a roundup a couple of weeks ago today, about a half dozen people taken into custody or more. Mostly heroin or both?
Yeah, about half of them were heroin. We had done a roundup, I believe, last October, so it wasn't that long, and we kind of thought we had to do this because one of the guys was tied into our Maple Field robbery.
In some communities, I think it's over in Jefferson County now, the sheriff's department there is carrying Narcan, which is helping, at least when it comes to treating some of the overdoses. Is that something that your department, your officers carry, or is that?
No, not at this time, but I'm looking into it. A lot more departments in the state are going to the Narcan. So what it does is it'll treat if it's a heroin overdose, you can treat them, and it's pretty simple. And if it's not a heroin overdose, it won't hurt them. So it's definitely something we're looking at.
When you see the holdup at the Maple Fields and some of the other crime in the village, that must be tough as a police chief to see how this is having such a huge impact on your village.
Definitely. I mean, I love my community, and I don't want to see it get any worse than it is. So we try to enforce the laws the way we can, and I'll keep doing that.
We know that it's taken a while, but slowly meth has also been showing up in other parts of northern New York. Has that become an issue?
We're not seeing meth.
You're not seeing that?
We haven't. I think Saranac Lake and Tupper Lake saw some of that, but we're not seeing that in Malone. And I was told by somebody before that if you got heroin, a lot of heroin, you won't see a lot of meth.
I know a year ago when you had that big bust, you had mentioned then that a number of people were using public assistance money. That troubled you?
Yes, definitely. I mean, it's the taxpayers' money, and then they're not paying for the prescription drugs, but they're out selling them and making money off us, and that really upsets me. So,
you mentioned at the time a number were doctor shopping. They would go long distances to doctor shop to try to get their prescriptions filled.
Yeah, we had people even going to Watertown. New York State has enacted a program that slowed that doctor shopping down a lot, and we've noticed that. So it's definitely getting a lot harder for them to get the prescription drugs.
And as far as using the public assistance money, has there been any type of a crackdown there?
I mean, that's through social services. I know we just had a roundup in Franklin County, a welfare roundup, so there have been some investigations done on that.
So collectively, a number of departments are trying to do what they can.
Yes, definitely.
Does it run in cycles? When you get ahead of it and you make some major bust, does it, like you said, does it go about a year where you'll tackle the problem and you'll fight it back, and does it tend to then rear its ugly head again?
It used to be that way, and after this latest bust, we're just as busy as ever, so it doesn't seem to have slowed down much. So the demand's there. So I don't know what the answer is.
It must leave you wondering, what do we do next?
Yeah, because I mean, if they've been arrested 2 or 3 times and then they get sentenced to corrections and they get up 1 1/3 to 3 years and do 6 months in the local jail, they go into corrections for 6, 7 months and come out. It doesn't change them any. They'll come right out and start doing it all over again. So either the punishment has to be a little harsher for people that have committed the crimes before. If they haven't and it's the first time, then they definitely need to get into rehab and get some help on that.
The penal laws addressing it, or do they need to be looked at?
It's the penal law is okay. It's the sentencing. It's more lenient now than it was on some of these guys. So when they go to medium facilities, and they just doesn't seem to bother them.
And it's not just the village, you're seeing it throughout Franklin County. We know the latest roundup was also Essex County. It's really the region that's seeing this now.
Yeah, and like I said before, the heroin is being pushed into the rural areas now like we've never seen before. So it's definitely going to be a problem for the future.